Hello and welcome to another Overlord Theory video, and today we will continue our little exploration of a hypothetical conflict between the Sorcerer Kingdom of Ainz Ooal Gown and the Theocracy of Slane. And while all of this is just a hypothetical scenario, it is nonetheless based on all of what we know about Overlord, its lore, characters, its world, items, its magic system, and even its laws of physics. But before we're going to take a closer look at this scenario, let's take a closer look at all of my Patreons and thank them for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. And we will start off this little scenario, like the last two parts of it, link to them in the description, with a quick recap. Ainz, Aura, Mare, and the three freed elves of Area Usrud traveled to the Elf Kingdom. Ainz had gotten suspicious of the Elf King's intention, and therefore hid in the throne room and witnessed the Theocracy abducting the Elf King via downfall of castle and country. Ainz, now knowing who had controlled Shalltear, enacted a plan of revenge, and in its first stage, Pandor's actor disguised as Momon pretended to join the Theocracy against the Sorcerer Kingdom, while the Elfen and the regular battlemates were decimating the slain Theocracy's troops in the Elf Kingdom. Wanting to finish the conflict quickly, Slane, now backed up by Momon and the mind-controlled Elf King, has sent out Zesshi Zetsumei to this theater of war. Upon arriving in the forest of the Elven Kingdom, any elf could hear a certain voice. Starting off as a single quiet whisper, it would usually swell into a soft humming choir, whispering wisdom and guidance to any elf in need of it, as long as some of the elves would release a tiny bit amount of their mana in order to fuel the voices. And every elf of the kingdom could hear this collective choir. Known as the Green Tongue, it enabled the elves to coordinate over long distances, and while they had excellent sight, a better sense of smell than most humanoid species, and one of the finest, most acute sense of sound in the entire world, every word they utter, every noise they make, could reveal their position in the thick of the forest with its high trees. Moreover, the voices could warn about an incoming threat, but while the once almost silent whispers had swelled into a full-blown warning cry, Mare found the sound just annoying at best and insulting at worst, considering they were warning about a vile undead. Upon finding himself disturbed while reading, he politely told him to please stay quiet, while Aura told him outright to shut up. But the third elf that couldn't be reached was perhaps the most endangered one. The desperate voices tried their best to warn the noble-blooded elfin princess of a grave danger, lurking in the woods, concealing her presence, lying in ambush. But Zesshi didn't even notice them, and it's not that Zesshi couldn't hear the word of the wood, because she was just a half-elf. It's because Zesshi couldn't be reached for the very same reason even a trader who stood right next to her and shouting into her very ear how great his pottery and his clay was, would also fail to reach the half-elf. Her mind was tuned to one thing and that one thing alone, but deaf to the rest of the entire world. Her next big fight. While she didn't know who was able to decimate the front line of Slane this fast, the small smoldering flame inside her heart reignited once more, fueled by the hope of finally fighting someone stronger than her, thus burning away any green tongue. On a high branch, her flame brightened even more, as she detected faint footsteps advancing towards her. To Zesshi, it didn't matter who the red-haired woman was, or from where she emerged. All that mattered was that she breathed her scepter in bright flames as she advanced towards her. The confidence the red-haired maid displayed put a twisted smile on Zeshi's face. Not being able to contain her excitement, she rushed forward in a mad dash, only for the maid to seemingly fail at deflecting her sight that now had opened up her belly, before she herself gets smacked down by the handle of the scepter, plummeting towards earth before being intercepted by a branch as thick as a bell tower. The impact of Zesshi has broken the branch in two. From the underside of the impact center, Zesshi lazily evaded the falling branch and witnessed how the red-haired maid was now breathing herself in flame, and how her wound began to heal and disappear. A minute later, the battle-maid was bathed in dozens of augmentative spells before rushing towards the half-elf girl that now had trouble blocking the fierce strikes coming from her. Now even more thrilled and not wanting to give ground easily, Zesshi grabbed the burning hot scepter and punched the maid square in the face before casting a healing spell herself that was ingrained in her gear to also regenerate her burning skin and her health passively. A second later, Zesshi was dodging dozens of fire spells being flung at her with wild abandon. It looked more like a desperate gunner who was trying to down an airplane than anything resembling precision. Not only disappointed but slightly annoyed by this weak display, Zesshi fought for a moment seriously and rushed towards the battle-maid, deflecting 5 consecutive blows from her scepter and 2 from her fists and legs, before expanding her side, bathing it in bright blue light. In this night the full moon was put to shame by the half-cycle moon that Zesshi controlled, as the flesh of the red girl was peeled from her bones, and she was sent down to the ground, her healing fire having visible trouble replenishing so much lost health so quickly. Zesshi meanwhile rolled her eyes. She wasn't scared or angry, just annoyed that this one dared to interrupt her in her search for a strong opponent, because clearly she lacked the power to cause all of the 4 great claws left gashes upon the belly and chest area of the unattentive elf girl. Just a moment later, her head was situated between 2 burning jaws of a great wolf, biting down with full force. For a faint moment, hope reignited, before being smoked out again, because Zesshi, while deflecting the scepter and another of her great claw with her 2 hands, was easily able to not only break the jaw of the battle-maid, but to take it off from her head with a single well-placed kick. Now just disappointed, Zesshi froze time for just a moment, before separating the wolf's head from her body, not even a second later from the battle-maid's point of view, and minutes from Zeshi's. She was already traveling back, heading home, and wanting to do one and only one thing, telling all of the cardinals that next time her half-brother should suffice for such a trivial fight. The wood's desperate cry now changed into a sad mourning voice, as the real Lupusregina emerged from her invisibility and casted a resurrection spell from a scroll that Ainz Ooal Gown had given her, and that Pestonia had instructed her with. With her greater doppelganger revived, the Doppellupus could take her place at the ever-expanding, ever-advancing front line, while she will join up with the rest of the Pleiades and much of the staff of the Great Tomb in order to watch the final battles over the hearts and minds of the theocracy via the mirror of remote viewing, and while Lupusregina, just like much of Nezubik, was watching an expanded version of the mirror of remote viewing in the amphitheatrum. All of them could witness a red bolt rushing forth, far more powerful and far more sinister than even the sadistic healer in a full moon night. For Shalltear would finally be allowed to take revenge. And how this will play out will be the topic of the next video. For today, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Dash Dash Dash, Badger Yi, Ben C, Chrissy, Crowley0221, Sia, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, Chromius, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R., Michael Y., O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantom, Personage, Primus 11, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon under my next video.